Hey everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby Supply, and today we're going to do update 104. And this time I actually have some things done. So let's dig right into this. Okay gang, I was just going to show you this. The videos that I'm making today are going to be combined with the video when I get through with this stuff. But I have the ballast on the two staging tracks going back there. It's all glued down, it's all cleaned up, the rail has all been cleaned, and I have the rails painted going around the loop, but I don't have the ballast on. I think I may have had that done in the last video, but I'm going to work on that ballast when I get a chance. I've run trains on this. Everything works through these turnouts. I numbered that one 22. I'll put a little post there. This one is worked automatically by the detector circuit, and that one back there is obviously 21. It's marked on the foam. Now let me show you what I've been doing down here at the other end before I conclude here. Okay, here we're going to kind of go to a drone shot. You can see that I have all the houses off of there, and I have them all in a pile over here. I had to cut back the hillside here along here to get these houses to fit properly and give me a space to have a little front yard on these. I also added a little raised texture along here because it was just flat, and I didn't really care for the flatness of it. So anyway, I've got to color that rock, and I'm as soon as I put the camera away here, I'm going to start on that. And what I forgot to tell you about the houses is, you can see by the pile of wire that I have put lighting in all of the houses, which is one thing I had to do. And you can see that I've done this plastering, and I'm going to color that plaster, and then you can see where I placed the houses to make them fit, and I have an order as to where they go there. I did change the order up a little from what you've seen in previous videos. I think it was just these two here were flopped. Maybe it was the next two. I don't know. But you'll see when I get that when I get that done, and that'll be included in the next video I do. This video will be included in that video. I'm going to show you one more thing in the yard. Okay, I know I have a lot of junk sitting here, but you can see that I got my Miniatronics lights converted to LEDs, and I have them mounted in the yard. One light facing each direction at each location. We'll take one more picture of this one, and then I have the fourth one down there at the yard, at the engine house. Haven't done anything with the buildings, just have the lights put in. I'm going to turn the lights off in here and let you look at them. There's the one at the far end, the one in the middle, and the one at this end, and the one down here at the yard, I always keep saying yard, at the engine house. They're kind of bright on camera, but when you really stand back and look at it from the side, it doesn't show up really well on the camera, but it does make a sufficient amount of light here compared to what there was here. Anyway, I'll add on to this video as I get done with the house project down there, and I'll add these to that. Okay guys, I'm not sure if I ever actually physically showed you this while I was doing it, but I have a bunch of base colors. Hold on a minute. When I did the layout, all the colors that I used in the base, I wrote base on the top of. And I guess my other container's out on the workbench. But anyway, it has a similar bunch of markings on a similar bunch of paints. those particular paints, when I see an area such as these rock formations, I just pick out a bunch of colors that I think look close and I spread them out on here. And just a little squirt of each one, and it's kind of a waste of paint. However, I have a bowl of water that I put here, and I have two paintbrushes, a large one and a small one, smaller one, maybe about a quarter of an inch. It's one of the tester's brushes. But any of those colors I need, I dip into them, mix them together, start applying them to the plaster, which you can see I've done up here, until I get a consistency of that color that I think matches the rock color. And you can see from the last video I did that that was all white, and I have now put a color to it. And when that color dries, I will go back and dry brush on that, and that will bring that back to what I originally had. I don't know how else to explain it to you. There's not really, I mean, everybody thinks it's magic that I can go back and, you know, mix these colors back. But I guess what I'm telling you is I just get the shades that are in that rock. There's obviously reddish, brownish, blackish, a little bit of white, which I put on here, which I didn't use yet. Just the colors that are close to what you think the colors are is what I squirt out on here, and then I just kind of mix them and put a little dab on there as I go, and when I get closer and closer to the correct color, I add a little more water to it. And then on this particular big rock, I think you can see how wet it is all the way up the rock. I blended it all the way up the rock. Then I'll come back when I'm done and I'll wash this with a black, which will take black back into all the cracks and make it blend a lot better. There appears to be too much black down in there, but I think that's going to dry out of it, and I can always put some ground cover over that to blend that in. In fact, it will have ground cover to blend it in. So I'm not too worried about that drastic line that you see there between the wet and the not wet. But anyway, this is how I get the color back on in the color that I originally had. Now, there was no sense in doing much painting on the flat part because most of that's going to be grass and so forth. And maybe even a sidewalk. I think I'm going to might even put a sidewalk along the road right there. But anyway, you can see how that blended in. It's about an hour after I took the other videos, and I'm going to go down here to the other end and show you what I did at the other end again. Okay, down here you can see that I got off my hiney today and I ballasted along the track down here, all the way down around the corner over there. And that glue is extremely wet right now. I did put, what I do is I put the ballast down, then I used a little bit of earth blend down in between the tracks here, because whatever is wet will stick and whatever isn't I'll be able to vacuum off. But anyway, once all that dries, then I can clean that track. Once I clean that track in this whole area here, I will come back and I will stain that with my thinned black acrylic. And that will make it all blend together. So I will probably take that when I do the next video. Okay, last time we left off here, and this time we're going to start here. I did get all this track ballasted, and after I ballasted, I did get the track cleaned off, and everything ran fine on it. I have since washed it with black, thinned black, all the way back there. But I have not cleaned the track since I washed it with the black. But there's how it looks, and once I get the track cleaned, all that I have left after that is my road I talked about, going over to these buildings and putting the lines on the highway. And for the most part, with the exception of power poles and things like that at some point in time in the future, this area is pretty much done. So let's swing around and show you what else has been going on. Okay, now we come back over here to the housing, and as you can see, they're all kind of in place. And as I said, I have the the rock. I cut the rock out, and you'll see. I took that video earlier, but you just got done looking at that before I showed you this one. And these, as I think I said in those videos, or the video that I recorded earlier, I have lights in those buildings, or in those houses now. The other night I came out here and put in the sidewalk along there, as well as the driveways into the houses. The next thing will be fencing and yards on those. Let me turn the light off and show you what that looks like. Okay, now you can see the lights in the houses. I can turn them up and down a little bit. The one, where's my finger? The one right there seems to be a little bit bright, but I think it's just on camera because it doesn't look bad here. And there is some light shining through the front of that one and the walls of that one back there. I can either go in and paint those black, but I don't think I will, simply because there's also going to be street lights out here, and by the time I put light, a counteracting light on the outsides of these, you won't see that. You also won't see that light bleeding out from under the structures because there will be grass in the yard and so forth, dirt and grass. So anyway, that's pretty much going to be the houses. I'll show you an update on those as I get the yards and fences done. But that's pretty much it on the housing. And as I said, with the exception of light poles. And really, unless I think of something else here, that'll be it for today. Well, okay everybody, that's update 104, and I hope you enjoyed it, and as usual, thanks for watching.